You'll never find classified documents in his house because that would involve reading. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on a church. I got to mandate you get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing. We love that about you. Jonathan Kite in the studio. Chris Maxapata as well. So many things to get into. I have quite a few, but Jonathan, you can weigh in on my first one because I realize you do Donald Trump. You also do Barack Obama as well. And I was listening over the winter break to Michelle Obama, and she was speaking to Conan O'Brien about her book. And I'm somewhat enthralled, obsessed with Michelle Obama, but only because she's the mascot and leader of the nothing nonsense talk that seems to be very pervasive now in our society, where everyone has to be their best self and every child needs a place at the table of dignity and stuff like that. And it's sort of babbling about dignity and looking for inner light and stuff like that. And it doesn't do anything.
It's all those posters they sell at Bed Bath & Beyond.
That same group would have made fun of if there was an eagle on it and it was sold in 1989 and in Ted Nugent's bathroom and there was something about soaring like an eagle or the American, they would have never stopped making fun of that. They're doing a woke version of it, but it's just babble.
Yeah.
And
it's just, it's all positivity. It's all just be your best self. It's all, I don't want to say cultish, but it's like, it's all sort of drink the Kool-Aid, like the thumbs up all the time. And I think, like those posters, like hang in there, like everyone's the cat.
Right.
Hang in there.
Yeah. And I was talking to Dr. Drew about it earlier, but I have a problem with it. And the problem I have with it is and everyone goes, well, what's your problem with positivity? And I'm like, because it kind of satiates. Like instead of telling kids, hey, you got to lose some fucking weight, you're fat, we go body positivity, love yourself. But they don't love themselves. They have a mirror in their home. They see what they look like. They have, early onset diabetes and all that kind of shit. So we're trying to coax them into feeling better about themselves. But the reality is they need to go out and break a sweat.
Well, that's the thing is it's not actionable.
Right.
Because it's, for me, I think you're right. I do have a mirror, and I understood that subtle nod to me that I do need to lose some weight. And the thing is that it says everything is fine right now.
Right.
And when it's, if it's not, or if you're not happy right now, like it doesn't give you sort of steps to be like, go out and fix it or go out and change that thing.
Well, it was interesting. And I'll jump around here, but I was talking to Dr. Drew about the 70s versus now. And we were talking about lots of different things, how adults could be adults. An adult in the 70s could walk into the den or the living room where the TV was, sit down between the kids and just light a cigarette. And if they didn't like it, they could go stand on the porch.
The good old days.
Now that guy would be removed with zip ties around his ankles from his own home, right? So like adults you could just say no. See, I can't tell my kids no. I have to either say yes or give them a long dissertation about, I'm going to be out of town. I'm not going to be back from Philly until afternoon. You want me to take you to Beverly Hills and go to brunch at 11 a.m. The flight doesn't land until 11:20 at LAX. Like my parents, there were no explanations. It was just no.
Yeah, now no is not good enough, right?
No is not good enough. There needs no with an explanation. And as a matter of fact, my parents didn't even have to go audible. They just look at you.
Yeah.
Could I have a Nerf football? Yeah, okay, sorry, Dad. Sorry. Yeah. I won't ask again. Like just a look.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, if I was running around and you ran into an adult, it was your problem.
That's right.
And
That's
now,
right.
like I was I was out shopping the other day, and a kid ran into me, and the parent looked at me like, "Get out of my kid's way."
were you crossing the street in front of a VW?
I was kicking a child in the face. No. I was working. Yeah, I was. No, I was literally just out, and I didn't even see the kid, and it just ran into me. And I remember looking like, oh, does this kid belong to someone? It's like a pet. When you see a pet without a leash,
right?
You're like, is this kid chipped? Is somebody looking for this? Is it on a milk carton? I don't know. But I looked around, and I saw the parents, and they had a look of like, come on, like, don't you see that our kid's a brain dead moron that doesn't understand bigger objects in front of it that would clearly die in the wild?
The other thing on that subject was a kind of stratification of America. So when I was a kid in the 70s, if somebody owned a Mercedes-Benz, they were a winner. And if they owned a big TV, they were a winner. And if they got to go to any of those steakhouses like Chadney's in Burbank, across from where the Tonight Show would film, a windowless steakhouse, and go hang out where Johnny Carson would go after he filmed the Tonight Show, or Milton Berle would show up there, Bob Hope would show up. If you were at Chadney's in Burbank, California, having a T-bone and a martini, you were rich.
Oh, yeah.
There's no such thing as us being in one of those places. Like, I've been to steakhouses now. I know you guys have noticed this, or maybe it's just me, but I'll go to like Mastro's in Malibu, and I'll sit down, and I'll see half the people walking in. I'll be like, oh, you can't afford this shit. You're going anyway, which is, I have mixed feelings on. Good, live your life. On the other hand, I bet there's a payment for some braces and some orthodonture at home that you've missed, or something for your kid. But there is no way anyone inside of Chadney's at 6 p.m. on a Thursday night was not a high roller drinking a high ball. That they were all high rollers, and the Mercedes were in the parking lot. Now, you'd be a school teacher, garbage man. You could have a small Mercedes, and you can eat out at steakhouses. And then what I started to get into was the satiation part of the whole thing, which is, when I was a kid, we wanted to get into the steakhouse, and we wanted a Mercedes-Benz. Now, it's kind of been removed, that aspirational, boy, I'm going to work hard, I'm going to save my money, I'm going to make something of myself so I can go into this place that I can't get into now and drive this car there that I can't possibly own now.
Yeah, or that people are going to buy it no matter if they can afford it or not.
Yes,
like they just put it on credit cards. You know, it's just like, don't worry, we'll take care of it. I'll pay interest on it later, but I want it now.
Yes,
it's really
immediate gratification.
Yeah, exactly. You always talk about delayed gratification, and I mean, growing up, there's a thing like where I'm from called hood rich, where you do have like the crazy expensive sneakers and the flashy car, but then you go home and it reality hits pretty hard because you're going into your rented 1-bedroom apartment or something like that.
We have that in my neighborhood too. We're talking about guys in the Klan who've done well for themselves. Hood rent.
No. That's
hood
a different
rich.
kind of hood rich.
They don't mix well, the two hoods
don't mix
that
those,
are rich.
I want to see that show, Hood Rich Meets Hood Rich.
Yeah, that's right. The
you know what though? Can I just speak
yes.
on that real quick about Hood Rich? No. That the idea that social media tells you that if you don't have those things though, so people get them for, like, you know how you could like rent a private jet, or like, did you see there was actually a private jet sort of setup that wasn't real that people could rent so they could take pictures because they just wanted the clout. They wanted people to believe that they could afford it, rather than actually having it. Like, I'll never forget when I was in Vegas, humble brag, and I saw a guy at Bellagio playing like $30,000 a hand, and he looked like a guy who didn't care about what anybody thought. He was just like in sweatpants and stained clothing and like a dumpy baseball cap and like a fanny pack, and it was like that guy just didn't care, and he had the money. Whereas, like, I wonder every time I see somebody who's loaded with labels or things like that, I always wonder, do you have the money to pay for that, or are you just doing it for the clout?
Remember years ago, Lil Bow Wow, or Bow Wow now, as we call him, he took pictures of himself like on a private jet or something, but it was all zoomed in, and then somebody took a picture of him in the Southwest flight that he actually was in, and he was ridiculed online because they found out the truth, like he was just doing it for the clout.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of being ridiculed, we flew Spirit back from Philadelphia a couple days ago.
Whoa.
First time. My first time.
My first time, too.
And last time?
Well, a couple things.
So glad you made it, by the way.
I was unaware of the fact that it was legal to manufacture a modern-day commercial airplane that had a seat that did not recline. I did not know there was such a thing as no reclining in this seat. And then the pilot kept going, well, we're going to get you out to L.A. today. We got a short 5 hour and 26 minute. It's burned into my head. By the way, you can say short if we're going to Phoenix from L.A. or we're going to San Francisco from Phoenix or something. You can't just throw the word short and then go 5 hours in something minutes.
And especially a lot of those people, that's a return flight. It only takes like 4 hours to get there.
Yes, it's like 5.5 back, and there is no monitor in the seat in front of you that doesn't recline, and Wi-Fi's out. So they announce no monitor, no Wi-Fi, 5.5 hours. You shall just sit in this non-reclining seat. The whole thing, if you get fat enough, every seat is a reclining seat. if you're big enough, because I've had dudes in front of me that just lean back with enough momentum that thing just flexed 3.5 inches back. Like if you get a big enough dude, if you get a load in front of you, they make the seats are thinner and thinner now because they're looking for more knee room. I'm 6'2". Here's what they should have with the Spirit airline. They should have that thing they have at Disneyland where like Mickey's arm is put out, and if the kid is under 4'3", he cannot get on the Matterhorn. They need that for fucking Spirit Airlines.
Brother.
An arm sticking out of a six. Have fun with it. Get Shaq. Get a big plywood cut out of Shaq.
Yeah.
Have him hold his hand out at 6 foot. If you hit your head on Shaq's arm, you cannot get onto this flight.
No, or you
because
have to
the seats don't recline, and they're my knees were just mashed against the seat. They took about Southwest. They took about 3 inches out of the space between the seats, and my kneecaps were just mashed against the metal in the seat in front of me.
I very publicly.
What are you, 6'2"?
6'3". And I will tell you, I will never fly Spirit Airlines for personal reasons, for religious reasons.
Sure.
And but I won't. I hate Southwest the same way, and I do a whole bit. People are just getting on the Southwest hate bandwagon. Bro, it's been the cornerstone of my act for years.
That's right.
I'm turning to Paul Giamatti. I hate Southwest. But I hate Southwest so much where I'm like there's no leg room. It's so thin. And I'm like, if you're that size, you should go on the carry-on.
Yes.
They should put you up there, put a little air tube in your face. You can't have a normal seat because then you can't bleed over. And you're right, like the biggest people are in there. And by the way, somebody almost cracked my laptop because it was in the seat in front, but the guy bent the seat back so much. And I was like, what? This is unreal. And I think, like, what are we even paying for?
Plus, that seat, if it's been around for 14 years and had seen enough asses and rocked them all, there'll be just enough flex and wiggle room worked like a baseball mitt. It'll
I want
just
an
be
Allen wrench
broken
to
in.
tighten my fucking seat. You know what I mean? Like, you're not moving on me, pal.
Yeah.
You're not moving on me.
The move Mike and I did, and I recommend this to everybody, on the way out is we sat in the middle row, not on Spirit or Southwest, but we had an empty seat between us. Their seats did recline 3 inches. The move is recline your seat, get your buddy to recline his seat, and then take the third seat and recline it.
Yeah.
What they're looking for is a difference, not an angle. They're not smart enough, they don't care enough to stop. If they see one guy's leaning back and the seat next to you is up, they'll stop you. If you tilt them all back, you can recline on takeoff and
I'll
landing.
crop dust those middle seats, bro. I'm like, you're not getting in here, pal. This is, a real Forrest Gump seats taken sort of attitude. That's what happened to me on Southwest. I took it one time. I was going up to see a buddy's show in San Fran. Your boy's 6'3", guy 6'3" on the aisle. You can't, I say this, the way that there's no, at least with Spirit, you get a seat, but Southwest, it's like a free-for-all. It's like the worst game of musical chairs you've ever played in your life. I'm like, who cares how much $10 I threw down to get that window seat? Because the biggins are getting on at the end of the flight and they're gobbling up middle seats.
Yes.
And the guy got the guy sat between us. He must have been 6'8", 6'9". I said he looked like two adults in a trench coat trying to see an R-rated movie. This is insane.
I flew Southwest with John Sally. NBA
Huge
great.
man. I love him.
I flew on a Southwest flight
Played
with
for the Bulls.
with a 7-footer.
Yeah.
He didn't care one lick.
Wow.
I was like, I'm 6'2", I'm miserable. John, you're 7 foot. Please complain. He's like, I'm good, bro. Like fucking knees up around his ankles. I don't think he could hear me because his knees were over his ankles.
He just sat in the bathroom.
He just saw my mouth moving the whole time, complaining, and he was just nodding the whole time with his knees up
was
around
like a
his
folding
ankles.
chair.
He folded him up. All
That's
right.
insane. What airline was that on? Southwest?
Southwest.
Yeah.
Southwest.
He must have had a deal with them.
Good for him.
Good for him. All right. I got a million things to talk about. I thought we could start with my Michelle Obama thing because as I'll revert back to, she is the leader in the clubhouse of just double talk about light and living and being seen. And I'll play a clip from her over the holiday break.
Most of the country feels unseen. And I think that's where anger and that's when people are easy to divide because they don't feel seen. And why I tackle that is because I think we have to work on seeing ourselves. So that work has to start with us. You can't look to be seen outside of yourself. Mm-hmm. That's the work that is the constant work that each of us has to do to change the loop in our heads about not mattering. We have to rewrite that story.
Have to be seen. And now being seen, which means somebody outside of you sees you, but the work begins within of seeing yourself. First off, too many fuckers being seen or wanting to be seen. I've seen way too many neck tattoos and fucking chicks with green hair, like nose rings, and there's too much of an emphasis of being seen. Number two, I don't really like to be seen. I like to kind of slide through the cracks of life.
Same.
Yeah, I think that's an assumption that everybody wants to be seen. And I think that some people are just happy going about their daily life without being on Twitter and having everybody know their every little thought.
And you know what? I'll tell you where the real disconnect is. You should, and this is the moment we're living in, I just had this thought. You should work very hard at being seen from your family, your loved ones, like friends, coworkers, church groups, whatever. That is your group. Like they should know who you are.
Temple.
They should feel sorry. You should be seen. You should be heard. Like your son should know who his dad is, and your daughter should know who the mama is, and all the way around. Outside of that, you shouldn't be seen. You going into random Starbucks, you don't need to be seen getting on to the Spirit airline flight. Like you should then work very hard not to be seen. That's when you become a societal member. And what we need out of society is order. We need the B group on Southwest to get in the line with the B group people, not to be seen standing in front of the fucking A group. Society, you don't want to be seen. You shouldn't work to be seen. There's way too much being seen in society. Yeah, Twitter and all that, taking pictures, a little bow wow and all that stuff. Like we're working too hard being seen, and then we go to our own family. We don't have a relationship with our kids. Have your own fucking family see you. Outside of that, go full stealth.
Yeah, but also like the stuff that you do, yes, being seen is such a generic term, but it's like the ripple effect. If you do things, it affects in a positive way other people. It's not necessarily always about me, like give me the credit. If you really want to make a change the larger change that you make, it doesn't necessarily point back to you unless it's like you're responsible for like making the iPhone or whatever the hell it is.
I was just wondering if maybe we could play that again and see if Donald Trump could weigh in on her being seen, perhaps.
Most of the country feels unseen. And I think that's where anger and that's when people are easy to divide because they don't feel seen.
Listen, excuse me. Okay, so unbelievably glad to be back here at the Adam Carolla Show. A lot of people, I've been on a lot of times, more than most, more than anyone. More than Adam. A lot of people don't know this, but I've been on the show more than Adam Carolla.
I don't know if that's true.
That's
true.
Fake news, Chris.
Oh.
You're speaking fake news, okay? And I just met this guy. I don't know him. You seem nice, but I've been here a long time, okay? I live very close, okay? I have a place outside in the garage. But the thing is, to be seen, okay? If you want to be seen, you got to do what I've always said. You got to go to the Capitol. You got to grab a headdress of horns. You got to grab a musket.
Oh,
you got to grab a musket.
No, not that kind of being seen.
And you gotta be seen, and you gotta grab that podium. You gotta grab a podium or come to my rally because I see everyone. This is true. I have a kissing booth for the women. Okay, I'll kiss you anywhere you want on either set of lips.
Nobody else does that.
Not a lot of people. Nobody does that. I've been doing it so long, Chris. I've been doing it for such a long time, okay? I did it. I was kissing. Excuse me, Chris, excuse me. I was kissing people before anyone was kissing people, okay? I've been kissing babies. Whether you want to or not, I will go to the maternity ward and I will grab a baby and kiss it. Unless it's my own, named Eric, I will disown it. But other than that, I love to kiss, and I won't kiss the men. I don't do that. I'll give them one of these. I won't necessarily shake their hands because, I have such huge hands. Adam, a lot of people know I have such huge hands.
Can I ask you a political question, Mr. Trump, especially with the political ads? I was watching the TV the other day.
I love politics.
And I saw, I guess, Republican Senator Rick Scott. Maybe he's a congressman. Either way, he did a thing to the camera where he was talking about a message about America or something like that. And then at the end, he said, "My name is Rick Scott, and I approve of this message." But I thought if you're in the message, delivering the message, then de facto you approve of the message. I get the part where they show the footage of chaos in the streets, and then they show the person they're running against, and then they show grainy footage of cameras and crime, and they go, "I'm running against this person." Then you say, "I approve of this message." Right. But if you are the message, if you're looking into the camera, delivering the entire thing with no graphics and no cutaways, then aren't you de facto approving of this message?
Fake news, because we have to drain the swamp. These people, they don't even write. They don't even know what they're talking about. Okay, Rick Scott. I never heard of this guy, Rick Scott. I thought he was a guy. Okay, I thought he was a guy that Ivana introduced me to. I don't know this guy. I never met him before. But to say you never questioned Donald Trump, if you know what I'm saying it, okay? Chris, let me just say this. If I say that I have big hands, I didn't approve the message. I am the message. I'm always on message. The big hand message. Right. The message bringing the big hand to America, to kiss your mother, if that is what she wants, or to kiss a baby. And Rick Scott, who approved this message? I don't even know him. So the fact that he approved his own message, who is he? So nobody approved
He's not even kissing anybody either.
Yeah.
I wouldn't kiss. Listen, there's something on his lip. I don't trust him.
Well, Mr. Trump, I know you said that you see everybody, but do you personally feel seen these days?
I feel seen on my new social media app. Okay, Truth Social.
Right.
And that is how everyone, if you want to get seen, and this is true, okay, I teach this at Trump University, okay? I said, if you want to get seen, okay, you got to have your own social media platform, okay? I have an account, I have an OnlyFans. Okay.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Okay. It's just me with a duck face and no clothes. And I'm in a lot of great environments. I'm standing outside the Capitol with a gun. I'm riding bareback on an American eagle. An American eagle. Have you seen an American eagle bareback? Or eagleback, if you do it my way, okay? I have another way. This is true. We did not Photoshop this. A lot of haters and losers will say Photoshop. I don't use Photoshop. These hands are actual size. You know what they use my hands for? This is true. Excuse me, Chris, do not. They use Hamburger Helper. My hand
that's
was
your
used,
hand?
Yes, both of them. Very
I don't
big.
want to correct you, but that hand only has 4 digits on it.
I've got huge hands, okay?
The Hamburger Helper hand does not have 5 digits on it, Donald Trump. It has
I can't
4.
believe that's your hand then,
I'm pretty sure we could check it, but I'm pretty sure the Hamburger Helper hand mascot
Let me just
has 4 fingers, and you have
This
All
is how it
five.
looks. This is how it
See,
looks.
most reporters don't do their diligence like I do, but I researched a hamburger helper hand before coming into the studio.
we're looking
By
at a
ring and
picture
my
of it now.
pinky. My ring and my pinky are in the same glove hole.
Oh,
That's how you do it.
Only the greats.
Movie
Donald
magic.
Trump, Hamburger Helper, Mickey Mouse, The Simpsons, America. And I approve this message.
All right. We also have a crazy story. I got a few. There's a art teacher that was fired from a university. I think Dawson has the story, and I have a little different angle on it, but you guys can all be outraged by this story and the times we're living in. Dawson, you got that, or you don't
Dawson,
got that?
it's emailed to you. It's the ham line.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I do have it right here. Minnesota professor reportedly fired after Muslim students complain about images of Muhammad shown in class. A Minnesota liberal arts professor was reportedly fired after Muslim students complained that the instructor showed historic depictions of Muhammad during a class about Islamic art. The unidentified professor at Hamline University in St. Paul stoked outrage in October from members of the school's Muslim Student Association for showing paintings of the Muhammad made in the 1300s and 1500s. Many Muslims consider depictions of their prophet to be blasphemous. Aram Wedetala, president of the Muslim Student Association, told university administrators about the incident the day after it happened, according to campus outlet.
Now, the thing that's crazy about this story is, first things first, everyone and all your grievances and complaints. All it does is make people go, "Fuck it! I'm not going to talk about Muslim art anymore. I'm not going to get into. We're just going to skip that chapter,
That part of history.
We'll double down on the Dutch masters, and then we'll hop ahead to we'll go from Van Gogh to Andy Warhol, and we're not going to get involved with any Muslim art because I don't fucking want to deal with this at all. So all you do is fuck your own shit up because people just don't want to talk about you or bring up. People don't want to risk anything, so they stop bringing it up.
Well, wouldn't this just go the other way then? And then if this does happen, then we'll get students complaining, "Hey, you're not including us in this history."
Eventually the same group will then start complaining that they didn't cover them during the art history. But the thing that's crazy is, I think it's in the article, the teacher said, "I'm going to bring this up.
Yeah.
I'm going to show this picture."
You have a 2-minute warning here.
If you are going to be offended by it, then you should leave now. So everyone gets a heads up.
Where did he get the images?
They're historical images. So
he wasn't up there doing win, lose, or draw.
Yeah, right.
No.
Oh, it's a woman, by the way.
That's a woman, right. She needs to be fired.
To your point a couple of minutes ago.
That's, by the way, one person complained in the class.
Yeah, and then probably just
one
got the
person.
group.
Imagine we were talking about what you could do, what kids could do, and what they can't do. Imagine being 18 and a half and just walking out of the class going, "I'm going to get this chick shit canned. This would be awesome." I'll just walk right into the dean's office and go, "Hey, that person who's been here for 23 years, gone.
Yeah, tenure.
I want him gone."
That student feels seen.
Yes.
The student says, "I'm like, this can't be real," Wedetala told the Oracle. "As a Muslim and a black person, I don't feel like I belong, and I don't think I'll ever belong in a community where they don't value me as a member."
Right. This is why Michelle Obama needs to shut the fuck up, because she's convinced this young dummy that she doesn't belong and we don't want her because she's not being seen.
I can't believe this guy wasn't quoted as saying, "I don't feel seen, and I'm pissed off that the images of Muhammad were."
The teacher after the class apologized to the student, which is the first mistake, and the student still went and got the chick fired. The only good news is the art history teacher, who's a female at this progressive college in Minnesota, was definitely a wokester. And I love it when they fucking get bit by their own snakes. Like, "Hey, wokester bitch, now you're out of a job. Enjoy your time at home."
Isn't that
So-
it's so? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, here's what happened. In the syllabus for the class, it was students were warned that images of Muhammad would be used in this class. And then the professor also reportedly warned students that a painting containing an image of Muhammad was going to be displayed in a few minutes ahead of time, giving anyone who might be offended by such an image the opportunity to leave the classroom.
All right. I have a lot more to say about this and an angle that you guys aren't thinking about.
I just
right
hope that's
now.
not on the final. Draw Mohammed. Can we just say that?
First, let me tell you about Babbel. It's a new year. You want new experiences, new travel destinations, new jobs, or new skills. There's no better time to start right now. Start 2023 off by learning a new language with Babbel. Babbel, it's a language learning app. Sold over 10 million subscriptions. Actively, it's addictive. It's fun. It's bite-sized language lessons. Drew uses this all the time. Says he got his wife basically speaking French with it. Just 10 minutes to complete a lesson. Have a real conversation in as little as 3 weeks. Created by over 150 language experts, not AI. Voiced by real native speakers, not computers. Choose from 14 different languages. Plus, there's podcasts, games, videos, stories, and even live classes. 20-day money-back guarantee with Babbel. Right, Dawson?
Right now, get up to 55% off your subscription when you go to Babbel.com/Adam. That's Babbel.com/Adam for up to 55% off your subscription. Babbel, language for life.
All right, take a quick break. Be right back with the rest of my thoughts right after this.
In celebration of Jim Carolla's upcoming 92nd birthday, here's a list of 92 things Jim Carolla has never done. Number 2, built a sandcastle. Just one of 92 things Jim Carolla has never done. Let's get back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Well, it is funny because although Jim Carolla's never built a sandcastle, we, meaning my cousin Greg and I, used to do something to him that involved sand. And our next guest, Andy, we just took a little trip in the parking lot. We're just talking about stepping in a puddle, like a cartoon where you put a jacket over it and they step in it and they go all the way down to their neck. Jonathan brought that up during the break. My dad had those weird, he 3 times a year, we would go to my cousin Greg's house, and Vince, Bruno, and Santa Monica had a little apartment, I should say, not house. The Carollas, everyone was a renter. Had a small apartment 3 miles from the beach, but we would go to his place, we'd get Vince and Greg, and we would go to the Santa Monica beach. And at some point, my dad and Vince, who is a contemporary of his from South Philly, at some point they'd go for a walk and they'd be gone for like an hour. And while they were gone, we would feverishly dig a hole behind the little folding chairs they sat on, the low boy, old school 70s one, that there was just... In the 70s, there was one folding chair, and this was it. It came in 2 colors, but it was just one weird aluminum low boy thing with the straps on it. And they would both sit there. Me and Greg would feverishly dig a ditch right behind it, lay a towel down over the ditch, and set the chair about 1.5 inches from the edge so that when they both plopped down, pow, both chairs went into the hole, fell backward.
Yeah.
And if my dad had ever drank a beer, it would have spilled. But he did
Never
not.
not funny. Never not funny.
Oh, when you're 9,
Bro.
the best.
When you're my age.
So, it's funny that just jarred that memory loose. All right.
I love the booby trap stuff when you're a kid. Like I used to do that to my little brother. After I would take a shower, I would just line the entire tub with shampoo and then just listen for when he just he just ate shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think pranks and practical jokes got to be down like 189% with kids. Like my kids did a
You
little.
never hear about that
They did a
anymore.
little boo stuff, but they didn't build an entire world around practical jokes like we did. But back to the Muslims. Charlie Hebdo, that whole office was shot up. People do not want to show any depictions of Muhammad because they will get killed or fired or disciplined in some horrific way. It's a weird way to launch a religion. You know, Jesus Christ is everywhere. He's on the side of custom vans.
Oh, he's seen.
He's seen. Half the people half the anchors on Fox News have the cross with the Jesus hanging on it.
Yeah.
He's in front of every church. It's not just the church. He's in front, you know.
Yeah.
All
He's
sports.
Oh, you got the nativity scene, you got tattoos.
Yeah.
He is ubiquitous. Everyone knows what Jesus Christ looks like. I'm saying
A white guy in his 30s.
if you're trying to launch a religion and you're sitting down and you're going, all right, what are some of the tenets of the religion? Like, what are the beats? And, I'd be in on that meeting and I'd be like, well, a woman has to honor and obey the dad, the father, the man. I'd go, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm down with that. And she can't be seen with any other guys. She can only be seen with the dude, the one dude. And like, yeah, okay. And no reading. We don't want them reading or getting education. I'd be like, yeah, I'm down with you and I get to do whatever I want, right? Yeah. And then no pictures and no depictions of Muhammad. I'd be like, well, how do we campaign? Like, how do we get the message out? Like, why no pictures of him? Why not pictures of him? And then we worship the picture of him, like Jesus Christ. So this probably predates that. But what I'm saying is get the message out.
Well, that's a real word of mouth. They are really trusting. You know the game. Hold on, but you know the game of
Operator,
exactly.
A phone call.
No, but same thing.
Telephone,
If I was to tell you about a guy. I'm like, there's this guy with long hair. He turns water into wine. Now go tell. That story's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The fact
this
that they
is like
trusted people.
This is like a taco truck that won't advertise, won't put any signage on the side of it, won't give anyone a heads up.
It's a speakeasy without an address.
Yeah, they're that good.
Yeah.
The tacos are that good.
That is an unbelievable Yelp review of Islam.
Yes, thank you.
Wow, that is whereas Christianity won't shut up about it.
That's right. Never stop
They're
banging
going
that
door
drum.
to door during the Crusades. Hey, you going to join us? Then.
And if anybody shows a depiction of this guy, we'll come into their office and shoot it up.
Well, that's the Islam guarantee.
That's right.
You know what's crazy though is about obviously the Charlie Hebdo and the South Park was, remember they were going to do something?
Yeah.
Like, it's interesting. It's not like they were creating new images, which again, I don't agree with that they should have been killed. I mean, it's, I think, total BS. But this teacher was already showing something that existed, and not as a punchline, but just to say, like, to educate us. And that was the thing about being seen before. It's like, we have too much power. Like, the fact that when you hear what college kids today are allowed, or if they get enough people together to be like, we feel that this thing is, it's going against the institution. So it's like the fact that person now, one person against one, that all the years that teacher has been there, probably not the first year that they've shown this image.
Yes,
right.
Probably every year, but nothing has changed except for the students have changed.
Yeah,
and
next year it's going to be more students complaining. It'll just evolve.
This is why you cannot negotiate with these people. The answer is get the fuck out of my office. You don't get to come into my office and make them. And by the way, they fire these people because some 19-year-old said, I don't like what this person's doing. It's insane to give them this kind of power.
It's like a Twitter comment. People just make like snap judgments, right? Like they see you and then they go like, I don't like the way your face, like da-da-da. And they may not ever think about it again. But in the real world, they have repercussions. Like you said, this person doesn't have a job anymore and now has to apologize for a curriculum.
And this little pain in the ass brat piece of shit that complained, at some point, that person is going to come to work for you or be a neighbor of yours, and they're going to have grievances. Yeah. It doesn't stop at the classroom. They're like one of these fucking sci-fi movies where the thing lives off of electricity and it just eats power lines and keeps like growing bigger. You're just taking this monster and you're growing it by dealing with it.
You're teaching it that this is the way to go about
You're
things.
the adult. Be the fucking adult.
Who's shaping whose mind in college now?
Right.
Ironically, they should all take a note from Muhammad and not want to be seen.
Yes, that's right. Thank you. I was just sitting around watching a story today thinking, man, no publicist and no Muhammad publicist. I mean, you're starting a religion where we're not allowed to show depictions of the leader of the religion, and yet it took the fuck off.
I just hope that this, the college story doesn't go to court, because that sketch artist is going to have a hard time.
Oh, my God.
Getting away with that.
Yeah, we got to get cameras in that room. We cannot have the sketch artist. You're right. All right. I wonder if anyone ever in court had a beef with the sketch artist. Like, what I mean is
Yeah, for sure.
You're the 53-year-old woman who's been divorced, is being accused of embezzlement. You've had a little too much plastic surgery, blah, blah, blah. You come into court. There's no cameras, so it's a high-profile case. Then you go home in the news that night, and you see yourself, and you're like, come on.
It had to have
They
happened.
added
It was
a couple pounds.
It was a storyline in The Sopranos with Junior Soprano.
Oh, was?
Was it?
Yeah. So
No,
it
they had
to.
I
have
thought she
happened.
passes over a headshot and she goes, use my face from the 80s.
That's right.
Can you draw me from a higher angle?
Yeah. Where are they hiring these from? Like Six Flags? Those like caricatures?
Oh, yeah.
She's like, why am I represented with roller skates in every picture?
And by the way, what's the vetting process for the courtroom sketch artist?
I want to do it.
That's it? That's all?
Yeah. Come on. You go to art school. Remember those like art school that were correspondence?
So you're saying like the ones from Magic Mountain or Knott's Berry Farm. So wouldn't it be funny if one was like a veteran of Knott's Berry Farm and then got called in to do like a quick replacement job? Like one of their friends who's a sketch artist was like, I'm sick and there's a big trial that's going on tomorrow and I need you to fill in. And they kept drawing the defendant and stuff, but they put him on a skateboard.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The roller skates.
Roller
Or
skate.
they have like flies around their head that they smell like duty. That would be amazing. That's a great job.
Yeah.
So the childhood obesity article, which is another thing that got stuck in my craw this morning, which is bugging the shit out of me.
Pretty fat article.
Dawson, you got that one?
New guidelines for treating childhood obesity include medications and surgery for the first time.
Is this from where?
Doesn't say on this
Oh,
piece of paper.
well, this article is from NBC, but it'll.
The American Academy of Pediatrics.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
So fat kids are just going to get fat and go under the knife now rather than be told to take it easy on the Lunchables and get some fucking exercise.
The guidance comes after childhood obesity rates have continued to rise over the past decade and a half, increasing from 17 to 20%, according to data for Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Since the 1980s, obesity rates have tripled in children and quadrupled in adolescents.
We could get the message out. COVID could have been the time, lose some weight. Don't get ravaged by COVID. Start taking care of yourself. Get some sunshine and some vitamin D. Get some exercise. You do that, you do much better with COVID. We never brought it up during all of COVID. It would have been nice to have Fauci get up there when he was pretending not to know about natural immunity or one of his many pressers and said, by the way, if you drop a few pounds and get a little exercise, it's going to help.
Yeah, would have saved more lives too.
I mean,
a lot more lives.
Yeah, they should do a run for obesity. But you know what's funny is when you go to like a thrift store and you see clothes from the 70s and 80s, and this was supposed to fit a child back then, it looks like it couldn't even be a fingerless glove on some of these kids.
Yes.
And that's the thing. It goes back to what we just said about the teacher. Whatever decision, however I'm feeling, is the right decision.
Yes.
So if I'm going to keep putting Lunchables, like you said, 100%, whatever crap is in here, all these chemicals and stuff, because I want to eat it, it's the right decision for me.
Well, at what point, you can read a little more, Dawson, but I have a controversial thought.
We now have evidence that obesity therapy is effective. There is treatment, and now is the time to recognize that obesity is a chronic disease and should be addressed as we address other chronic diseases.
The treatment is exercise and diet. That's the treatment for it. You can take a pill. And by the way, do we want to get people on pills early?
No.
Because if you're taking a pill at 12 because you cannot control your eating and your exercise, then what pill you taking when you're a little depressed at 19? And then what's the next pill you're taking at 35? Like, do we want them to get into this pill hopper? And do we want to indoctrinate them into this pill-filled world where you take a pill to cure things you can control yourself, but choose not to control? Do we want to give them this pill early?
It's such
like
a young,
age 11.
Yeah, because that's where you develop good habits. Now, obviously,
Right.
it comes from like people who are in your life that are instrumental in teaching you. But it's like those, if you tend to eat bad, I don't know anybody who's like 40 who's like, you know what, I'm going to get off of Mountain Dew and junk food unless they have like a medical problem because you've done it for so long.
Right.
And what you teach yourself as a kid, you continue into adulthood.
Sorry.
For children ages 12 and up, one of the major changes is the recommendations in the recommendations is the inclusion of anti-obesity drugs and weight loss surgery alongside lifestyle changes. They kind of buried the lifestyle changes.
Alongside.
The guidelines say that pediatricians should offer weight loss drugs for children aged 12 and up with obesity.
All right. What about this? Now, here's my controversial stance on this. It's killing people, obviously. It's a lifetime of taxing the system. So it's everything about you puts you into the system when you're walking around with that kind of weight, including like joints, hip replacement, knee, you're carrying around 350 pounds. The joints don't last as long. All that. All right. If there was a kid and that kid was emaciated, underweight, and malnourished, the authorities would get involved. Like some school teacher would go, that kid's not being taken care of at home. We need an intervention. Like someone's got to be dispatched from Child Protective Services to go to that person's house and go, what the fuck is going on? There's a bag of bones coming into my third grade class every day. At what point is it the parents? At what point does somebody from the school get to go, hey, we want to meet you about a little tub of lard over here. I want you to come in and go, your fucking 13-year-old is 235 pounds, wildly unhealthy, pre-diabetic or diabetic or whatever. You're going to start making some fucking changes. Like, you have to get on your shit with this.
Yeah, what's funny is that I don't think that's a controversial opinion. I think
I'd love to float that opinion at LAUSD and see what they.
I thought you were going to say that. Here's what we do: we take the fat that we're taking out of the big kids, we put it in the thin kids.
Well, that's
a transfer of fat.
Yes.
Yeah, like when I worked as a waiter,
that's trans fat.
That's trans fat. Yes, that's a good kind of trans fat. So when I worked as a waiter. I remember there was a table I had one time where these parents were challenging their kid to see how many Dr. Peppers he could drink in one sitting. And he was up to like 8, and they were asking for more. And I was like, morally, I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but you're his parents.
That's a Japanese game show. That's not a lifestyle. What's also crazy is I thought you were going to say like, because when does it stop, right? If they take out the fat, then I was like, oh no, please don't tell me that like these prepubescent kids are going to start putting the fat in their butt.
Oh, that could be it.
Because once you open the door to allowing surgeries for any capacity, it's like, what's to say now? Because if you had said like 10 years ago, we're going to have liposuction on children, people would be like, well, it's life and death, right? You're like, well, they're just obese. We would say like, that's crazy.
There was a billboard that was very close to where we're sitting that I complained about 10 years ago, which it was for a lap band surgery center, showed a giant cheeseburger and it said, eat what you want.
Yeah.
We got this. Now, here's the bigger picture for everything all the time.
Yeah.
You are not going to have to worry about what Michelle Obama says to your kids or being seen or any of that. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's all about delayed gratification and self-control. Every person I know who's successful is able to push past things that are difficult and keep going. When I did K-Rock, Jimmy Kimmel would be there at 4:15 in the morning. Nobody wants to be anywhere at 4:15 in the morning. He would push himself to he'd be working on bits till midnight and doing shit, and that alarm would go off at 3:30 in the morning. He would be there. They control their exercise. 10% of people really enjoy exercise, like really get off on it. Like Dr. Drew likes exercise. He's literally one of the few people I know. Everyone else, you just have to wrestle yourself. You have to will yourself to exercise. You have to will yourself not to eat that dessert or not to grab that third slice of pizza or to go low carb or whatever it is. It's all a battle, and it's not limited to diet and exercise. It's everything. It's all facets of life. It's work, it's relationships, it's being a neighbor, it's a societal member. It's all just this kind of will of like, my dog just took a big dump on the neighbor's lawn. I don't feel like picking it up. Pick it up. I don't want to do that. Okay, you must beat yourself. You must break yourself down, and you must get used to doing things you do not want to do which gets easier over time as you get used to it. And people, they'll say to me all the time, like, oh, we're going out to brunch and we're getting hash browns. And then they'll go, I know you don't like hash browns. I go, I love hash browns. I try not to eat them. That's all. Yeah. I do love. You love getting in this freezing swimming pool in the morning. No, I do not. It was raining this morning. It was 51 degrees outside. It was fucking freezing. I do not like it. Nobody likes it. I just want to try to beat myself a little bit. And there are versions of people that go way beyond what we could even imagine.
Yeah.
But just a little, you need to break yourself down a little bit. And it starts at 11. It starts at 12. It's like you need to sort of push through. You need to have that little inner football coach sort of going, are you hurt or are you injured? You know what I mean? Or it's the fourth quarter. We're running gassers. Come on. Keep going. Like, you need that. We're eliminating that. We're eliminating that with math scores and food and everything else. And what we're going to do is we're going to have this entire populace of people that can't not do what they want to do. They just do. If they're in the mood for this kind of food at this moment, that's where they're going. And then that is going to bleed into every facet of their life.
And hope that a pill will take care of it. That's the problem.
I was the fattest kid in my class growing up. And because a lot of things the article is also saying, it's not just the physical habits like diet and activity, but like we have to focus on these kids, like mental health it will cause obesity and the social inequities and things like that. And I, growing up, I ate rice with every meal. I was so fat. Like I remember one time I had to take a yearbook picture and they had me turn.
They give you 2 boxes?
that I wasn't that fat, but I remember when
like a seat on Southwest, you're like spilling into the next guy's frame. Right. Like, is Chris in Sheila's frame too? And
I see one of his jowls.
Really sad. No, but they the photographer said, "Hey, we're gonna have to turn your shirt backwards because you have so many food stains on the front." And I looked my shirt, my neck, like the collar was just right under my chin, and that's how to take my yearbook picture. Like they called me Butterball. I would be the kid that would wear a T-shirt at the beach and at pool parties and stuff because I was too ashamed.
Right.
So now, if I got this, like if I had to take pills or get this surgery, if any of the kids found out about that I'd be done. That my mental health would be lower than it ever was.
Well, now what we would do is we'd give you the pill and the surgery, and we'd fire the photographer who shamed you into putting your gravy-laden T-shirt on backwards.
We'd make the yearbooks bigger.
That's right.
Like 8 by 10. It's like, holy Christ, is this big?
Here's another thing, and it's a little more sinister than I'd like it to be, but there's no money in teaching people self-control.
No,
there's not.
There's not only... Is there no money in it? There's no fucking control in it. Like, we're going to tell
how to take care of yourself. What do you need me for?
What to do during COVID.
Right.
We will fucking tell you what to do. No going to the beach. No playing volleyball in the sand. We are in charge. There's nothing in it for pharmaceutical companies, and there's nothing in it for shitty politicians that are never stop trying to get this grievance cult to vote for them.
Well, I think also like what we talk about with social, it's instant gratification. Like you can use apps and everything to fix what you look like, where you are. And so like the beauty standard or whatever that is, people are reminded of that and they want to do that. And they're just on their phone looking at things that they wish they were. And they want it immediately. So they're like, if a pill can do that, instead of trying the other way. So yeah, and the earlier that you get on and you teach yourself that, you're fucked.
Yeah, do things that are uncomfortable and, sort of kind of push through the pain a little bit. Like, it's a good sort of mini one that I just thought of because I took a couple Pilates classes. So in Pilates, at some point, at least in my Pilates world, at some point when the super skinny bitch about 37 minutes in is on one elbow with the other hand aloft in the air and then her one leg all the way up in the air, and I try it and I fall over. Mm-hmm. At some point I go, fuck it, I'm planking. And she's doing this pose for a minute and I just do put the elbows down on the ground and plank it out. It's a little experiment because at some point they'll be like counting down like 30 seconds left and you'll be thinking, this is wildly uncomfortable. I just want to flop down on my belly, but I'm going to create this pain and just suck it up a little bit. It's really, the physical benefits of it are great, but the mental part where you just go, I want to quit, but I'm not going to quit for another 21 seconds is good. Just literally just plank.
Doing what you can.
Just plank 3 or 4 times, 3 or 4 minutes a day.
And that you'll build on that. But if you just start eliminating the building blocks and just try to take like the cheat code, you're creating so many more problems for yourself down the line that you can't imagine. Because who even knows what's in those pills?
You need some sort of like resistance, right, to battle, and that's what you're trying. That's what you're trying to. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you know this, Adam, but if you're talking about working out, Jonathan's secretly ripped. Like, I don't know if you could tell, but dude's been working out a lot, and
that's the name of my comedy album. Secretly Ripped.
What do you do?
Well, because you wear like the baggy clothes and the jackets and stuff.
Yeah, and people just think you're thin, but you work out.
Yeah, I work out, and it was tough for me because I had never done it. I played sports in high school and stuff, but I was just like a lanky kid, so I think that that probably helped me. But I never went to the gym or anything like that, and there were high school guys that were going there like every day, football, basketball, baseball, whatever. So then just at a certain age, I thought to myself, like, I just want to get in shape and I want to feel healthier. And I'm the same way where I have portion control, but I didn't do it for so long. And my thing was about just living longer and living a better self, feeling better.
I was just thinking,
Good goal.
A frequent thought of mine lately is what a colossal puss I've turned into, because I used to be fucking Vision Quest, hard ass. Like when I was in high school, I was like, I'm dead set on starting in this 3,000 person high school. I want to start both ways as a senior on this football team, and I'm going to kick the shit out of myself to realize that goal. And I'd be running bleachers. I'm doing the thing where you put the rope around your waist and drag the truck tire down the track and everything. I had the record for the bleachers. I was the fastest guy on the team in the bleachers. I wasn't the fastest guy on the team. I just was on the bleachers because I just kicked my own ass. I would go to... They had a thing at Valley College that was a whole like Nautilus workout thing where I'd get picked up at 6 a.m. during the summer when I was out drinking and breaking into the Mulholland Club and fucking around the night before. Guy'd honk the horn at 6 a.m. I'd go to his house and go lift hard. And I'm such a puss now. I'm such a colossal pussy now compared to that dude. Like, I just broke myself down, kicked my own ass.
But that's not sustainable. I mean, you just described to me an 80s music montage.
That's what it was.
You're in military
there was a
school.
Madonna song.
I was
taking it to the limit. I was running in place in the rain.
Dude, I imagine you in the rain the entire time.
In the rain, running
with that
hard.
tire and be like,
oh my.
Is this a guy with a whistle?
Oh my God, I could kick the shit out of myself, and now
feels good.
Now
Yeah,
it's
you're
like,
planking.
Now I'm planking for 25 seconds.
Barely.
Barely. Like if a dust mite landed on my ass, I would collapse. Down. I think about it frequently. I'm like, God, what a puss you've turned into.
But that's not sustainable. To know that you did it for a time. I mean, you see these guys now more than ever because of like medicine and stuff. Like there's a 90-year-old guy who like puts Jack LaLanne to shame.
Right.
But it's like, it's the fact that how many people do you think in the world had that for even a small part of their life?
I was like literally, run in place, blow the whistle, down on the belly, up, running in place, blow the whistle, up again, running backwards 100 yards. I beat the shit out of myself, and it worked. I ended up starting and everything. So
but that's a good thing because you had a goal. You wanted to do it for football.
No, and yes, and unlike the kid that gets the pills and the lap band surgery, I equated early on that if you outwork everybody and you really just put your determination and grit to something good will come out of the other end.
I feel the exact same way.
You can apply it to any business. You can apply it to multiple facets of life, not just high school football,
Absolutely.
Obviously.
Well, yeah, but it's so funny that you had that habit when you were younger, when you could have taken the pill. Mm-hmm. Steroids. But I just mean like that's good that you started because even if you're not in that shape, you still have that mentality in life.
Yeah, I do. And then the problem is I surround myself with people who don't have that mentality. And then I sort of say to them, like, but fucking get over it. Just go outside. Just go. It's raining outside. Just fucking do it. Just go for a walk. You know, and they go, I can't do it. You know, whatever.
I'm glad you said that because I'm like, subtle dig. I'm right here.
No, your rift is we've established with Chris. All right. I got some music videos to talk about and many other thoughts as well. Andy Cowan is going to come in. He's been on the show before, written for Seinfeld, written for Cheers, worked with Merv Griffin back in the day. I don't know that anyone would know what Merv Griffin sounded like, but you should work on a Merv Griffin. Can you think in your head what Merv sounded like?
No.
Have you heard a Merv Griffin?
I think about just the way that they sort of were presenters back in the day.
He was a singer. He was a presenter. He had a talk. Also, he was a Dick Clark. Who was Merv? All right, we'll bring Andy. Merv Griffin had a production company and did tons of stuff.
Huge.
It was huge. All right, we'll take a break. Back with Andy right after this.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Adam, got a road sign for you. Said, start the new year right. Drive sober 2023. No fucking shit. Happy New Year, guys. Get it on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
I like that I've sufficiently poisoned everyone in the audience to be angry at road signs.
Yeah.
Andy Cowan is here. He's back on the show. He's got a podcast out called The Neurotic Vaccine. It's available wherever you find finer podcasts. Good to see you again, Andy.
Good to see you, Adam.
We should also know that my dog Phil has entered the studio as well because it was raining. He was going to be home all day, so I just brought him with me. Andy, so... what do we need to know about Merv Griffin?
Now, I did my impression of him, which I
you must have,
summoned
right.
up the guts to do in front of him, and I can do it again if you would like to remember what he sounded like.
Please, yes.
One of Hollywood's most handsome leading men is with us today, and one of its all-time competent actors. TV fans know him as not only a classic entertainer, but also an exceptional talent. Cal Worthington is with us.
In his dog spot.
Did
That was Merv, yes.
how does Merv Griffin react to hearing an impression of himself?
He laughed.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he used to put his tongue in between his teeth when he laughed. You remember that?
Yes. Yeah, it was a big part of my childhood because his show was on daytime, I think.
Daytime, nighttime. He competed against Carson. It was ABC, CBS, and NBC. At one time, he was CBS.
He was a big player and a big producer.
Absolutely.
Was he gay? It was back when it wasn't discussed.
It wasn't
right?
discussed. It wasn't discussed, and it wasn't confirmed. Mm-hmm. So I shall not confirm it.
There was a lawsuit, I think.
Eek.
As I have these vague little memories of somebody, I think it was Denny Terrio. Was it Denny Terrio?
He may have been involved in it.
You guys, anyone remember Denny Terrio? Jonathan Kite, do you do a Denny Terrio?
Yes, I only say one line as Denny Terrio. Merv Griffin was gay. That's the only line I say is him. And
Denny Terrio hosted one of those like Dance Fever shows from the 70s. Exactly. It was like the White Soul Train. You just get this. Denny Terrio.
The White Soul Train was spelled SOLE.
Yeah.
That's right. The Denny Terrio was trying to. He was the Adrian Zmed of his time.
Ah, good analogy.
Good looking. Kind of swarthy, not sure if they were Italian or Hispanic, and you got an old Denny Terrio picture. We need young Denny Terrio picture. What I'm saying is, Adrian Zmed from T.J. Hooker. Nobody really knew what he did. It was back when, hey, you look good with your shirt off, right? Good, you can be in this show.
Totally.
And Denny Terrio was like, he looked good with his shirt off, so he can host the show.
Yeah,
you didn't have to do much more back then. But
he was like a TikTok star back in the day. Like, why do we care about him?
I think I have this wild recollection of Denny being on a private plane with Merv, and maybe there was a settlement involved.
I just love that photo was from a bar mitzvah.
That's all.
Where he was hosting in his later
We
years.
need Denny from like Dance Fever or whatever his prime was. But sorry, we'll get into the nuts and the bolts of that later.
As it were.
As it were. Speaking of dance videos, and you guys can think about it. I'm kind of putting you on the spot. There's Denny Terrio.
Where's his finger?
Yeah, I don't. That's a weird finger placement.
Disco with Denny Terrio. Again, Adrian Zmed, Denny Terrio, were they Italian? Were they Hispanic? Were they Puerto Rican? Like, I don't know what they were. It was big hair meets not fat and kind of tan.
Yeah.
You know what's great about that?
Tan was big back then.
Tan was big.
His face looks fake. It looks like, one of those things where you put your head through the hole in a cutout.
Yes.
Get the Denny Terrio body. This is like an ad for a gym.
Yeah.
And then he's pointing like, my ding is down here.
The sexual harassment suit from Denny Terrio was dismissed. So he accused Merv of sexual harassment, but they dismissed it.
It was pre-Me Too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that story was. It's just stuck somewhere rattling around in my head alongside the family affair theme. It's just one of those things that's just bouncing around up there somewhere.
Another sad story.
Very, very sad. Yeah, Merv said it was extortion.
Wow.
I just want to see how long we could all steep on that thought.
I was.
I'd much rather talk about Mr. Wonderful. Shark Tank's Mr. Wonderful. He was incredible on our show, The Neurotic Vaccine.
Oh, Mr. Wonderful.
Yes, Kevin O'Leary. I got to pitch all these crazy ideas and projects to him. In fact, I think Ben has a clip, an example of what happened. It was such an incredible show among many shows that are up there, The Neurotic Vaccine, if I may pat myself on the back. Years in the making, funny. Leno, I know he was on this show recently.
Yeah.
Jerry Mathers and Tony Dow's final appearance.
Oh, the Beeve.
Unbelievable. So much. Ben, might you be able to run that clip and just share with Adam and the guys?
Tom Wolfe was right. You can't go home. This idea sucks.
Was that what you like to call a nothing burger?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think that's definitely not your best. Let's see something else.
Your face on a carton of veggie burgers. Nothing burger. Nothing in the way of meat. I'll take 2%. I can't stop pitching you, Kevin. Does this happen to you in public restrooms? People are always approaching you with pitches.
Yeah, I get a lot of pitches. And you know what's funny? Every once in a while, not often, but every once in a while, I hear something interesting and, next thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire.
Okay, it's still early yet. Next into the tank is a money-saving way to avoid embarrassment. Hi, Shark. I'm Andy Cowan from Santa Monica, California, and my company is called Presto Changeo. I'm all for tipping, especially low-wage earners, but tip jars are everywhere now. Starbucks, bagel shops, Moyles. Little joke there. In this economy, when it comes to giving customers watching their own pennies a break, there's got to be a better way. Presto Changeo, a tiny device featuring 2 buttons you'd hide in the palm of your hand. And as you center your clutched palm over that tip jar, hit button 1 for the digital sound of lousy service, or number 2 for good service, but not good enough to drop actual change. Yes, they may call you cheap for not leaving paper money, but it's better than thinking you left nothing. So, Shark, let's leave nothing to chance and go fake change the world.
Wow, you're a scumbag. There's no question about it. It is so cheap. That is absolutely so cheap.
I wanted him to like me. He called me a scumbag.
He was in character.
Like on Shark Tank?
Yes.
I've never heard him call anybody on the show a scumbag. Watching Shark Tank will never be the same. I used to fantasize I was in that tank and Mr. Wonderful was offering me a deal.
You're reliving the Mr. Wonderful interview more than any others we've done. Let it go.
After calling me a scumbag, how do I keep that fantasy alive?
Let it go.
That's my shrink, my co-host on the show. I have therapy in the front of every show, and then We talk to the guests and find out what's neurotic about them, and the therapy comes back and forth. I zoom out of the interviews with the celebrities, and I'm back in therapy with my shrink. It's a fantastic show, Adam.
Great concept.
Yeah.
I like the changing of the world with the Presto Changeo. It's just the sound effect of dropping.
The fake change of the world. Yes, yes. You can save that embarrassment.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. I was just talking about picking up dog shit when the neighbors are watching.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah.
We need some version of that where you don't really pick it up, but they see the bag out.
That's
and it looks like,
connection.
maybe, you know what it is? It's the bag. It's the poop bag, the blue poop bag. Inside the little blue poop bag is a little green swatch that matches the color of grass. And as you lay it down, the little swatch, the little green yarmulke just goes over the dog poop. And then you pick it up. It also comes with a rock in it too. You just tie it up and throw it over your shoulder and proudly walk away.
Right.
You never get busted.
Well, you go, hey, did you pick that up? And you go, yup.
Yeah.
That is perfect for Kevin O'Leary. I hope he's listening.
Yeah, so we can get Mr. Wonderful back on this show. I can pitch him that.
Yeah.
Can I get 2% of that?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Wet your beak. And people could go, well, what if it's a dirt lawn or the lawn's dead or something? We need different colors. No, you don't, because if you got a dirt lawn, then fuck off. I'm not picking up my dog shit. It's only the golf course lawns that need tending to. And those are the people who care the most. So,
yes, right. You're welcome for the fertilizer.
You open the bag and the little square comes out on top of it. By the way, the neighbor standing in the window 80 feet away, they can't see the outline, and they're just looking for color differentiation. And then you'd pull it right up.
Yeah,
thank you for doing it.
Yeah,
yes,
I look for the
you'll
motion.
be Citizen of the Year in that neighborhood.
Yeah, I always look for the motion. If he takes out the bag and bends over, I'm done watching.
We're done.
Yeah.
You don't immediately go running out there. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. No, you find out days later.
You look for the guy who after the dog shits just sort of suspiciously looks around.
Right.
And then you go, that guy doesn't have any bags.
And then the next guy's going to get screwed because he is going to go pick up his dog shit and a gust of wind is going to blow the doily off. And now he's going to be responsible for the one that wasn't there. Interesting.
Adam, can I tell you one that he liked?
Yes.
Oh, my God. It was so exciting. I thought I was going to make a killing on this. It was called Trading Up. Getting back at the people who dump you. This app takes a picture of your former girlfriend or boyfriend and digitally alterizes slightly, making them have more symmetrical face. Nicer hair, nicer teeth, slightly better looking, and you, a more glowing and healthy version of your previous self, and you can take that picture that's been artificially enhanced by this app and send it to your ex saying, the new love of my life, thank God you dumped me. He almost bought that.
Oh.
Yeah, I would buy that.
It's called Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
FaceTime.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
No, everybody's using those filters now anyway.
Really? They're enhancing the eye. Slightly larger eyes, slightly more symmetrical. Yes.
I have an app which is sort of analogous to that. It's kind of piggybacking. It's like what the dog poop was to the change one. I have my app called Will Do. That's not for the old relationship. That's for the current relationship. The third time you say the phrase will do when you're talking to this person on the phone, it hangs up.
Oh, I love that.
Because will do is dude code for I'm hanging up this fucking phone.
Right.
But a lot of time the ladies will push right through. I've seen Drew talk to his kooky wife and say the phrase will do 27 times in a row, and he's still talking. You know what I mean? Static, cut, no calls from that number for the next 45 minutes. And at some point, what are they going to do? You just go, I don't know, the phone dropped. I was going through the canyon, or I don't know. They just get static. You just say the phrase will do. If you say it once, we can keep going. But if you say it 3 times in a span of 90 seconds, drop.
Can I use your invention for something else that's bugging the hell out of me lately? Do you notice how often talking heads and pundits and politicians are slipping in the rhetorical question, right? Every other second. You watch on MSNBC, Chris Hayes, tons of them, right? It's this tacit asking of permission. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Obviously. And of course, it's a rhetorical question that it doesn't bear an argument. But just once, I'd like them to come back and argue for argument's sake. He was preaching, he was obviously calling off his dog whistles, right? No, wrong. only dogs can hear dog whistles, not humans. I mean, whatever. What is with the right? I swear, you watch TV now and you'll notice the right.
Yeah. I'm going to start doing it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start doing it.
Right? Right?
I'm always confused that when the person is saying whatever they're saying, and a lot of times pretty fucking kooky these days, the host is just nodding and grunting and saying right, and I'm like, you should pipe up. Well, I did that to Gavin Newsom, and he never came back on the show. So maybe I think a lot of it is they want the senator from Mississippi to come back onto the show next week, and if you hassle them, they won't.
Do you remember that great scene from Wayne's World with Harry Shearer? When he's just sort of going off, and then Harry Shearer's just kind of going, I
didn't even know Harry Shearer was in Wayne's World.
He plays the DJ.
Oh.
Maybe it's the second one, but he's the disc jockey. And it's such a good scene, and then Wayne sort of notices that he's not saying anything, and so he just starts getting crazier, and he just keeps taking the records out. He goes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
You guys are reminding me of how probably essential in journalism schools now it is to learn how to stare into a camera and look earnest. Because that's what Anderson Cooper does for 90% of the show.
Yes.
Looking earnest and serious. And it's probably harder than you would think.
I do. I got a couple of, I don't know how this is going to work, but speaking of music, I have a music video from the 80s. Smokey Robinson. I'm not sure what year. Must have been mid-'80s, early 80s. I was sitting around forced to watch like We Are the 80s music videos the other day because something went south on my Apple TV and all I could watch was like We Are the 80s videos commercials, which video shows, which I dutifully will watch. I'll do anything other than read a book or sit alone and contemplate life. I will watch any mindless anything. And I had at the top of the leader of my Clubhouse and laziest 80s videos. Like now people all remember the Peter Gabriel Sledgehammer and stuff like that. And there was lots of Michael Jackson stuff, like real Thriller, real ambitious shit. People forget about the super lazy videos from the 80s where they had no budget and no wherewithal and no interest and no energy and no anything. And I always thought that the Journey video where they were down on the dock, like playing air guitar, they went down to the docks. They didn't dress for the occasion.
They didn't bring real instruments?
It was playing at a bar the other day. I swear, in Big Bear, I went there for the New Year. It was playing at a bar.
And they're just like looking at the camera and snapping their fingers. And the budget had to be whatever the fuel was in the van that took the band to, no, not this one. You got to start at you got to start this one. This was the cheapest, lowest budget shot, not in a day, in a morning. Like they had to have shot this goddamn video in less than 45 minutes.
Better.
Yeah, like the band Journey said, the record label said, we need to get a video out by this week. They said, we're starting our international tour tomorrow morning. They're like, come down to the docks and don't bring any instruments. We'll get a beta cam and we'll knock this shit out.
Totally.
And then they're like, all right, but we're not getting dressed either. No, fine, whatever you're wearing now. Just
come as you are.
Just come on down. My kid sister goes to a JUCO with this chick who's like a 5.5. I'll put her in a mini skirt. She can just walk down the dock too. You guys just stand next to her, snap your fingers. That was the laziest, cheapest, least inspired 80s video of all time until I was sitting around with no Apple TV and forced to watch We Are the 80s. And I came across a Motown legend who I love, Smokey Robinson.
Love him.
In 1981, with now the laziest of it, man. The beginning, he literally just went to, he has a friend who lives in the colonies, and he just went, Smokey, the Journey video has been beaten by the lethargy of Smokey Robinson.
Yeah, Smokey's actually leaving the shoot. They just filmed him.
He probably kept going.
Yeah.
He's like, we'll get it. Now just get out of here. This isn't your house.
Had to be weird when they showed the A&R guys, you know, like, oh, we got the Smokey video. Oh, great. What do we got? Pyrotechnics, models, you know, explosions. We went a little more acoustic. We kind of tamped it down a little. Less is more.
Yeah, how was that video unplugged? That was the most unplugged video I've ever seen.
Plus, somebody got a bill for $86,000 in 1981 for the shoot, you know?
For the cocaine.
Yeah, and went, what the fuck is this? Like, there had to be a conversation. Like, this is a number one, I don't know, I think it was a number one hit. Like, this song was a hit. Back in the 80s, you needed a video to go with the hit. Could you imagine the guy at A&M Records who said, oh, all right, let's pop it in the deck and see what we got here? Just watched him wander through this beach house.
Think about how, it was like a guy who was viewing a house that he was thinking about renting.
That's
He was touching the plans.
That was an Airbnb video.
Yeah, exactly, right. That's the VRBO. You know what's crazy is think about what was on the air that was competing with, because this was like MTV.
Oh, that was
Michael Jackson's Thriller?
Yeah, that was Thriller.
This is the one that you go take a shit.
The one right after
You're like,
it was Just a Gigolo by David,
but memorable videos.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm trying to. Now you got to find me. You guys remember Just the Gigolo? And
Everywhere
David
I
Lee
Go.
Roth. Yeah, I mean that thing was large and in charge. He had all the impersonators, and then it was like
He also had Dave TV.
That's right. If you go to the middle of Just a Gigolo, I think he's going through like he's spoofing all the other videos.
He's spoofing the last one we just saw.
It's a little Weird Al Yankovic-y.
Right. How big is this? Yes, you're right. The Smokey one had to be bookended by Just a Gigolo and
my
Thriller.
God. And this is one that you'd be like, hey man, I got to go get the mail. Like I can miss this one.
Do you think it's because Smokey got like in advance, like we're going to give you $85,000 for a music video, do whatever you want. He pocketed the other 87.
Yeah, he was probably contractually obliged to put out a video, but maybe he was on the outs with the label, and he just did it. The great Graham Parker, who only I know of, was in the kind of new wave punk rock English guy, favorite of mine, has been on the show before. Was contracted by Mercury Records to do one more song for them before he got out of this shitty contract that he couldn't stand. And he wrote a song called Mercury Poisoning, which was actually a good song, but it was like, fuck you, Mercury. You want your last song? Here's your last song. And then he moved on. Maybe Smokey was on the outs, or just a super lazy dude, or maybe like old school Motown where it's like, we don't do this shit where we dance in front of a video camera. We do it live on stage or something.
By the way, it's one location. Yeah. He was like, can we see the other rooms? They're like, nah, we didn't pay for that. We paid for the pool table room with a bunch of flowers and a fire.
Yeah, you know how the location scout went? Smokey, where are you right now? I'm in Malibu. Okay, stay there.
Yeah. He's like, just give me the address.
Maybe we're all missing, though, the important subliminal message he was trying to get across. I don't care.
Oh,
yeah, he was saying that a lot.
About this video. I don't care what David Lee
Roth
does.
He was talking to critics.
Yes, you're right. He did not care.
They spent a lot of money on that seagull.
Ben, was he leaving his label after 81? Was there something?
And as Jonathan said, like his eyes weren't open for a lot of it.
They were closed for that shot for a lot of it.
Yes. All right, let's we'll see if we can get some more answers to these very hard-hitting questions from 1981. These are, by the way, it's these kinds of conversations that made me not a hit as a young person. You know, I didn't get laid much, and my friends, I'd go, that's Smokey Robinson. They'd go, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares about Smokey Robinson. See, now we're in a place where we can all do 20 minutes on Smokey Robinson. But try this kind of talk in front of the guys I did construction with out of high school. No purchase for that seed.
They were like, Adam, we love that Smokey Robinson video.
They were just like, I don't know what you're talking about. Who gives a fuck? Shut the fuck up. He changed labels 2 years later, so he wasn't long for that one, but it wasn't that afternoon.
You have hard luck stories going way back when. My hard luck stories in terms of dating way back when still haunt me because I get so annoyed. I try to access my checking account online and the security, I can't answer my own security code question. Name of woman you took to the high school prom. I didn't go to the high school prom. 50 years ago, Wendy Coltman rejects me, and today I can't get into my own checking account?
You got to get that app so you can settle Wendy Coltman's hash by
Yeah.
sending her this new person
this
that's
new photo
better
of you, the
looking
better
than her.
version.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's take a break. We'll do some trending topics when we come back. All right, we is back. Jonathan is here. Andy's here. Smokey. Well, I should have called my dog Smokey. He's a 110-pound lab. He's laying there. He's black. Looks like a bear. Seems pretty lazy to me. All right. I have a blast from the past to play, but I won't get into it. What do you got, Max Pata?
All right. Well, I don't know if Andy is following all the Prince Harry stuff that's going on, but I know Jason Statham is. And yeah, so he has a new book coming out today. It's called Spare, and it's a memoir that he's written because they usually call him the Spare, the heir and the spare. He was the spare, and he's dropped some bombshells that everybody's reporting on. I mean, obviously how he dealt with his mom's death and his relationship with his brother. One story is pretty interesting. He lost his virginity behind a pub to an older woman who spanked him.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear the spanking part.
Yes.
I got in an argument with a chick the other day because they're like, the paparazzi killed Lady Di. And I was like, the guy was driving was 3 times over the legal limit, so that helped. And then they gave the... you know when people get pissed off just because you know more shit than them and then point it out to them, then they get angry about it? I'm like, it's about... Then they have to go look it up online, and the bodyguard was like, 2 or 3 times more the legal... Now, he was being chased by the paparazzi, but I would argue if that guy had some driving skill and was sober... If he was so... All right, he's driving through a tunnel at 75 miles an hour. You do not have to hit a cement pillar. There's a version of this where you just... Jason Statham knows.
I was just going to say, bro.
Jason said, hey, let me tell you something right now.
Yeah.
If I had been driving Princess Di, she would be the Queen of England today.
That's right.
And I would be married to her. And I just want to point something out. And let me just say this. Do you know what I mean? That's not very uncommon to lose your virginity outside the back of a pub. I actually lost my virginity fucking a beanbag chair.
Outside of a pub?
Yeah, outside of the Bloody Horses.
Does that count?
Wow. I don't know.
I lost my... Sorry, mate. It's so different in America across the pub. I lost my beanbag virginity back there.
I can't believe he was talking about using his spare parts for his brother. Part of the reason it's called Spare. Spare in the air.
Yeah.
In case William needed a kidney or something, he talks about that.
He does?
Yeah.
He's a spare. There it is. Yeah. So
I thought it was a bowling book.
I love that everyone's aggrieved now. I just love that literally royalty has a beef with how they were raised and how they're treated, and everything's racist.
Yeah, they're just realizing now that it was screwed up.
Wait, is this the new poster for Dune?
This is
what is this?
It's the cover of the book. And also, do we have to make everyone a cajillionaire? Does everyone have to do like a Netflix holding deal and stuff like that?
I'm actually playing Harry.
And what? Harry? You don't got no hair, buddy.
No, I'm wearing a toupee. I look a lot more like Carrot Top.
I'm saying, what does him and Meghan know about producing? What the fuck does Michelle Obama and President Obama, what do they know about production? They just go, we're going to give the Obamas a $100 million deal. We're going to do a podcast. Like, ugh.
I love Obama, but why does he keep releasing every year his favorite songs, his favorite books? I mean, that's a little...
That's his bracket.
Yeah.
Well, luckily we have him here to answer that.
Let me just say this, Andy. I release because I need a job. Because every job I try, my podcast didn't do well at it. And on top of that, I tried to do a Netflix series, and it was canceled after 6 episodes. This is true. I had more years in the White House than I did doing voiceover for Netflix.
Did you?
That's good.
You like your favorite songs and stuff. You know the Smokey Robinson.
I was going to say, I got to pull up one from 81. There's this beach house one. I don't know if you've seen it, Adam. I bought the house.
Oh, you did?
And I bought the pool table.
The scary thing is that fucking 1,300 square foot beach cottage in 1981 when Smokey shot it there, you could have got that thing for $79,000. That thing is $14.2 million today. That little shit cottage on the beach, for sure.
You know when they're selling it, though, they have TVs and just playing that video over and over. You're like, Smokey Robinson shot that video that nobody remembers here.
That's right.
Every liquor store that has a movie shot in there will have pictures of it.
100%.
Like, oh, yeah, this was shot
It's just the seagull and sunglasses, like at the dry cleaner, like the famous.
Yeah, just have the TVs on loop there.
All right, so Harry and Meghan, we get it.
Yeah,
everyone mistreats the rich people.
And if Jason's playing Harry, he also talks about how he killed 25 Taliban members when he was off fighting, and let's see. Oh, and
he killed them from a helicopter, which makes sense because I think they got trained to fly in the helicopters. It wouldn't make sense that he just killed them in hand to hand or with a pistol or something.
When we did the movie, though, it's all hand to hand.
I bet he lit him up from a helicopter.
I have his quote. So it says, most soldiers can't tell you precisely how much death is on their ledger. My number, 25. While in the heat of combat, I didn't think of those 25 as people. You can't kill people if you don't think of them as people. They were chess pieces removed from the boards, bads taken away before they could kill goods. I'd been trained to otherize them, trained well. On some level, I recognize this learned detachment as problematic, but I also saw it as an unavoidable part of soldiering.
Thank God we didn't otherize otherwise.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I can't keep. It's like young black kids' names. I can't keep up if you're going to make up shit all the time.
That's the name of the movie, though. It's Otherized.
You can't keep making up new words, but thank God we were able to do that with the Krauts back in World War I and World War II. Otherwise, we'd all be speaking Japanese about now, right?
Harry was otherizing William's hairline in the book. He was dissing his quickly receding hairline.
Yeah. Also, Harry talked about he would suffer from anxiety and panic attacks, and also got a nasty case of frostbite during a trip to the North Pole.
I said, is that the craziest humble brag you've ever heard? If I was Adam, I got a crazy case of frostbite, and then you're like, let me finish. Going to the North Pole.
Yeah.
You know how much friggin' money?
Santa.
Yeah, that you have to get up there.
Everyone gets them on their toes and their fingers, but never their dick.
Isn't that
Will
where
Chamberlain
he got
did
it?
though?
Oh, he did?
That's what he talked about, right?
So gullible.
Yeah, he did.
On his dick?
Yeah. So
Will Chamberlain.
Here's his quote. Upon arriving home from the North Pole, I'd been horrified to discover that my nether regions were frost-nipped as well.
Which one? His North Pole.
Yeah.
And while the ears and cheeks were already healing, the Todger wasn't.
So he did.
Yeah, so when home
What's
remedies...
that word, Jason?
Todger. It's the name of my dog. And by dog, I mean my cock.
Wow.
And I don't mean chicken.
Yeah.
Wow.
When they tried Elizabeth Arden cream, it was a home remedy, but it didn't work, so he had to finally see a doctor.
For his Todger?
So is that a humble brag? Not only did I go to the North Pole.
Most people have long enough extremities to get cold. Well, this guy, my one-eyed winker, my Charlie Who's It, it's so big and girthy that frostbite had to take a hold of it. Old Man Winter was chomping on my nog.
Yeah, the best part is he had to be convinced to go to the doctor. So I'm sitting there, right, and my balls are frozen a little bit. I mean, just a little bit. I'm not too worried about it. I'm thinking maybe this will go away.
It looked like a
maybe it'll fall.
coxicle. Yeah, a coxicle.
And then my mum told me to go to the doctor. I said, well, that's a great idea.
They have contingency plans for everything in the royal family. They didn't have it for that.
Put some cream on it.
Also, do you have to go to the doctor when you're in a palace?
Where was his ham warmer?
Yeah.
He needs a ham warmer.
Yeah, well, if you're beaten off and you shoot out a stalactite,
that's what he was doing.
Time to see the doctor.
He was doing snowballs.
That's right.
Stalactite or stalagmite? I still get them mixed up.
One goes up and then one comes down. So
that's right. Stalagmite went down to the ground.
Yeah.
G.
Yeah. So stalactite. Wait.
Stalactite and stalagmite? Is that what it was?
I think one's just as tight and might, and I think one goes up and one goes down.
Let's settle this. Can we pull up Harry's cock?
Major part of my secondary education.
For my jack off reference, either one will work.
Yeah.
Just so we'll just.
Someone's like, I don't get it.
Stalactites grow down from the ceiling. Stalagmites grow up from the cave floor. Cave floor.
Yeah, I was confused. Like that bathroom we went into in Philly, where they had the one-way mirror for the right above the sinks.
Yes.
I was looking up. It could also be called a two-way mirror, one-way or two-way mirror, and they mean the same thing.
I did not really ever understand the one-way mirror because it feels like a two-way mirror and a two-way mirror, and I'm still a little confused when somebody says, draw the shades. I don't know if that means we're opening the curtains or shutting the curtains. It's not immediately apparent.
And
It's
draw
like
the
just
bath
move them.
while you're at it.
Yeah.
Well, the bath, I get what you're doing.
Yeah.
The shade, it depends what time of day. If you said, I woke up in the morning, I drew the shades, then I would assume you're throwing them open. But if you said, at night before I went to bed, I drew the shades.
It's just do whatever they're not doing right now.
Exactly.
Well, that's me. I don't know a lot.
I think you're right. I think that's right. All right, let's take it back to a domestic story here. In Houston, there's a taqueria, and it was getting robbed last week. And so this guy comes in wearing a black ski mask, black gloves. He's like in his 20s, and he's holding up the place with a gun, and he's collecting everybody's money as they're carrying under their tables and everything. And then he walks by a customer's booth. It looks like he's about to leave, but this customer, this is Houston. He was armed, and he ends up shooting this guy, the robber, 9 times. And one of these times he walks up to him and shoots him point blank. So you can watch it now. It's not going to show the shooting because that's rough to watch.
I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I have many thoughts. I'll start with the nicer, more progressive thoughts. I don't know. You need to shoot someone 9 times. Maybe you can shoot them 3 times. I don't
lazy
know.
eye.
But I heard Mark Garagos talking about this, and there's an interesting thing, which is the guy was essentially leaving when the patron shot him. And so some argument could be LeBron James would say, why do you have to shoot a person who's leaving?
It was done.
It was done. But there is a thing in the law that basically says, yeah, but it's a guy with a gun who does this. Like, he could have just gone next door or gone out in the street and carjacked a guy. We don't know that he was done with this crime just because he was leaving.
Yeah.
The other part of me is, if you pull a gun at a taqueria, there's a 89% chance you're going to walk out of there with $143. But there's an 11% chance you're going to get a fucking cap in your ass, and that should be enough for you to not do it.
In Texas.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I tend to think this shit is effective. Because the opposite, which is we're a gun-free zone and we told the cops to pull back and we've defunded the police, that seems to result in more of this kind of stuff. So I like a message being sent through the neighborhood that, you know what? People could be backing.
Yeah, so it goes even deeper, too. So this guy, the customer with the gun who shot the robber, he has not been identified. What happened was he walks over, collects all the money, and returns it back to the diners and leaves the scene. He was driving a battered 1970s or 80s pickup truck. Police really want to talk to him. They're trying to get a hold of this guy, and he has not been found. And also, when he walked up to the body and right before and shot him point blank, he picks up the gun. It's not a real gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he
but
throws
again,
it at the wall.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
as long as everyone thinks
matter.
it's a gun.
But yeah, so I'm wondering maybe that's why it's like there's something psychological. Like I had to do this to a guy who wasn't able to shoot anybody.
Sounds like the plot of The Punisher.
Yeah.
I'm going to give myself 2 scenarios if I was in that taqueria after the guy shot the guy and I got my money back. I would either finish eating the tacos in the taqueria, or I would leave with the tacos. There's not a third one where I get up and leave the tacos on the table. That's how insane I am with tacos and food.
Well, you almost risked your life. You might as well eat the damn taco.
Those would be the best tacos you've ever had.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
100.
He's been identified and has spoken to detectives with his lawyer, says Gary, who's probably been talking to Garagos about it and is on top of it. So
there you go.
breaking
Chris,
news.
I think you're right. I think those tacos tasted different that day.
They must have.
Yeah, the tasted of freedom.
But also Texas has that stand your ground thing which allows someone to defend themselves if they feel their life is in danger. And I've seen various lawyers say that this qualifies. So
yeah.
So there you go. And Also, in since we're talking about shootings, unfortunately, there was also a story in Virginia where a 6-year-old shot his teacher. So
I heard about this one.
Yeah, so the police say it was intentional. It took place at Rich Neck Elementary School in Virginia.
Let me guess. The teacher had a picture of Muhammad.
No. This was a little bit different.
Okay.
Yeah, so this teacher, she's 25 years old. She's teaching a lesson when the child drew the weapon, and so she took a defensive position, held up her hand. The bullet went right through her hand and entered her chest. She remains hospitalized and reported to be in stable condition, and that was the only shot fired. It was a 9mm Taurus firearm that the gun was legally purchased by the child's mother. So he brought the weapon in his backpack, but when he pulled it, it was actually on his body. And so right after the teacher got shot, she evacuates the children from the classroom. There's 20 of them, and she's the last person to leave, and then goes and gets help.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hero.
Yeah, hero.
Absolutely.
So was he trying to shoot her? Was it?
All they say it was intentional, but I mean, there's so many questions. Like, one, how does this kid know how to operate this firearm? Like, aren't there all
John Wick?
It's John Wick. Yeah,
watch way too much Wick. Probably saw
6
1,
years
2, and
old.
3.
Was he there for? Was it there for show and tell?
It doesn't say the purpose. It's just and also the big question is, how do you possibly prepare like a school for preventing anything like this game? Because they're obviously thinking about it, but what do you do?
Yeah,
And they're going to place the kid probably in another home.
Well, that kid can't go back to that school.
Yeah.
I mean, my God.
They got to put him up in the next grade.
Well, he might be able to go back. Depends how popular the teacher was.
Or the kid.
They love the teacher.
She's a hero now.
Well, after this. But if I put a bullet in like Mrs. Parker at Colfax Elementary, I would have been a conquering hero.
They would have changed the mascot to you.
She was not a liked woman.
You'd be raised on the shoulders at the pep rally.
Yeah. The thing now, I'm just thinking about the dumbest thing I ever did. When I was 6, probably, and I was living outside of Philly, we found a box of bullets in one of my friend's garages. And first we threw them all around the garage, and we did like a zigzag with our bicycles, like, don't run over the bullet.
Use them as cones.
Yeah. And eventually we got so bored that we sat in the side of his yard and we just beat on it with a hammer.
Oh.
And it eventually went off. We were just whacking it like in the middle of the bullet.
It goes off when you hammer it?
I guess if you hit the cap, it would eventually. If you beat on a bullet long enough, it'll go off. It went off.
That sounds like Confucius.
Yes.
If you beat on a bullet long enough, it will go off.
Something a wise person on the top of a mountain would say.
Who's nowhere near bullets.
Yeah. But that's the dumbest bullet thing I ever did.
Oh my God.
We got into trouble for shooting spitwads when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those are the
Boy,
days.
you just sounded old right there.
I know.
I got in trouble. I'm so old. Our school shooter had a musket. We got out of there. He could not load that thing very quickly.
You know what I'm worried about, Adam? I'm worried I'm crossing over from annoyed into crotchety. That is a sign of maybe getting old.
I started early crotchety.
Yeah.
Like,
I would imagine.
I began crotchety in my early 40s, so it's not as big a transition now.
Right.
Just like Wilford Brimley, when he was 50, looked like he was 80. He just did it. He just went early and then started hammering checks as the old oatmeal guy.
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to follow the Wilford Brimley arc with crotchety, complaining about 80s videos.
Yeah, nothing today.
All right, let's do one more. What do we got?
Sure. All right. So, new law in Tennessee as of this year, they are the first state to charge child support to drunk drivers who kill the parents.
Oh, I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's called the Ethan, Haley, and Bentley's Law, named after 3 children who lost their custodial parents due to a drunk driver. The governor signed the bill into law last spring, and it started taking place this year. And other states are now looking to do it too.
They have to give money, but they don't have to. Like, it'd be weird if they came over and made them an omelet.
Oh, yeah.
They have to teach them driving lessons.
Yeah,
and talk to them about alcohol abuse.
Timmy,
it's like a Scared Straight program.
What do you like in your omelet, Timmy? Fuck you!
What do I like in my omelet? My parents alive.
I've had night terrors every single night.
Not only do they kill the parents, they also raise the kids, but it's double punishment for the kids.
Right. No, they're
this fall on Bravo.
That's right. I would watch the shit out of that.
I'm pitching it right now.
Show.
Yeah, yes. It's like the story is the guy was an out of work long haul trucker. He went and drank after his lady left him, killed the parents. He doesn't have any money, but he can work it off.
You sound like you're pitching me a country song.
Oh yeah,
This sounds like a country song.
And he can go over there. And then what's the arc of the song? Because of course they hate him initially, but at some point as they turn,
they're gonna have to learn to love him somehow.
Or they, at some point the kids are looking at each other and they
He'll
go,
always be in their lives, but he'll never be their dad.
They're little moments like where the kid looks at the other kid and goes, I didn't think putting chili on spaghetti was good, but I gotta admit, this is pretty good. He's in the kitchen.
This is the music
here.
era.
He's got a single tear. He's at the sink, the cowboy boots, and he can hear them talking about him in the back.
I love in the video he's just allowed to be around them.
Yeah.
Or they introduce him as an uncle.
Well, he has to take care of them.
Right, they'll never know.
And
unknown uncle.
It's called They'll Never Know.
They'll never know.
And Smokey pops up. I don't care about chili.
That same Seagull. He's not producing. He's not producing.
The law
Same guy.
is if you cannot financially provide, you must go work it off, but you have to do it anonymously. We cannot know you're the guy.
That makes sense.
And you have to use child seats when appropriate, because obviously your driving can be a little erratic.
wonky. Yeah, and a breathalyzer.
Yeah. I like that, Bill. I don't know. Is there such a thing in this day and age as anyone proposing anything without somebody arguing about it or calling it racist or something?
Yeah, well,
I want to know
what's the argument?
what's the counter argument to this?
I can't tell you. I mean, that's why other states are already looking at it. Maybe it's just an idea that hasn't really.
You said that's Mississippi?
Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee.
But a lot of states, especially in the South, are really looking into this. So
I want to check Nashville off my list of potential places to move. I don't.
Jeez.
Not saying it's going to happen, but I'm pretty well off financially, and
now
I've had a beer or two, and I just
listen. When your kids are out of the house, I'm not taking care of someone else's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so they have to pay child support until the victim's kids are 18. And AAA recently found that self-reported drunk driving behavior actually rose 24% last year.
You know what it is? I think it's all the signs telling us not to drive drunk. And I'll give you an example. And you guys can agree or disagree. Every freeway sign, especially during the holidays, drive drunk, get hammered, or something, or get hammered, get nailed, or something like. They do some cutesy turn of phrase.
Tipsy driving is still drunk driving, is what they'll say.
Yeah. They say buzz driving is drunk driving, which I totally disagree with, because that makes sober driving buzz driving. If we're going to bump everyone up, then we all have to go for the ride. But I wonder if all of the drunk driving don't drive drunk. So here's the experiment. If all those freeway signs replaced drunk driving with stop beating off, I believe beating off would go up 26%. I believe most Americans who are driving on our sign that said beat off, get hammered, or beat off. If I just kept seeing a sign like that, I'd come home and I'd go, I think I'm going to beat off.
Yeah,
because it was introduced.
Well, also there's going to be a list of things now.
But if it went up 26%, 24%. When signage is up 200,000%, then certainly it's not slowing it down because of the message. I think it's reminding more people to do it.
And
I'd be worried about the 1% of people who would think hammered means to get laid. So if you see a sign, get drunk, get hammered, I'm going to get drunk.
Yeah, get nailed.
No, get nailed means getting laid, right?
Oh, that's right. Wait, that's right.
It'll still
You
work.
used that analogy before.
The
Get
joke
nailed.
will work.
Yeah.
The stalactite,
that's what I meant.
it still works.
Somebody hammered.
Get drunk,
just
get
hammering
nailed.
that.
Oh, yeah, you can absolutely hammer as well.
Oh, you're right.
And also, the LAPD had 7 officers arrested over the holidays for drunk driving, too. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, so it's just...
Well, you can't blame them, because if I had a badge in my back pocket, I'd probably tend to do more erratic driving.
Oh, my God.
Just thinking, if I get pulled over, I'm probably going to know the guy, or at least I can flash the tin. You know what I mean? Like we do that move where you're getting your ID out and you flip the wallet open and it's got the badge carved in there. Yeah. I'd feel a certain sense of above the law.
Oh, yeah.
I had a friend whose dad was the sheriff. And whenever we would get pulled over, he's like, I'd be sitting shocked, and he'd go, "Oh, get my my registration out of the glove compartment." I get it out, and paperclip to it was a picture of his dad, and he would hand that to the officer, and legally got out scot-free.
That's why I just dress like a cop.
That too. Just do that, yeah.
When I'm drinking and driving, I just dress like a cop.
Yeah.
Oh, another one of my inventions. Last invention of the day, but this is a true story. I got to do this. I like a little life hack. Like, I can't remember the comedian who said when he'd drive home drunk, he'd put a Domino's pizza delivery thing on the roof of his car because no one ever thinks that guy's drunk. You know what I mean? I like tips for people to drive drunk. You should get, now look, you're not going to hit every municipality. There's Los Angeles, there's the Orange County sheriffs or whatever, like West LA sheriffs. Have a couple of different hats on the passenger seat of where you're driving through. I got a BMW M3 sports car, been gone for 2 years. A guy put a supercharger on it, had 700 horsepower and blah, blah, blah. I was driving it home from Van Nuys. I was on like Oxnard Boulevard, and I was like, I'm going to fucking open this thing up. And I opened this thing up hard, and I was doing 85 miles an hour down Oxnard Boulevard, and I literally passed a motorcycle cop who was tucked in between two parked cars. Like, that guy was just there to write tickets on this stretch. And I literally pulled myself over because as I was passing him, I was like, oh, great, motorcycle cop. Yeah. And then I looked in my rear view, and he was coming out, guns a-blazing on his Kawasaki. And I just pulled myself over. He didn't have to get close enough to me to flash the lights. And he was pissed because I was doing 85 miles an hour in a 35. And when he got to the window, he was pissed. He wanted to know what I was doing and blah, blah, blah. And at some point, he said, where'd you get the hat? I was wearing a hat that said LAPD on it because Chris knows if you give me a free hat and it's a decent hat, I'll just put on. It could be a barbecue joint. It could be LAPD. Yeah. It could be anything. You give me a hat, I'll wear it.
Right now it's a pickle hat.
I got a hat with a pickle on it because it's free and it's a decent hat. LAPD had come to the radio station like a month earlier to do some sort of nothing charity drive, and they gave me the hat. So I started wearing the hat. So the guy was like, where'd you get the hat? And I was like, oh. And I had to like pull it off and kind of remember it just said LAPD on it. And I was like, oh, I do a little charity work, not a lot. I mean, you got your job to do. I was speeding, but they'll do some charity with the LAPD now and again or whatever. And he was like, what kind of charity? I was like, golf tournament. It's nothing. It's no big deal. I was speeding. You're right. And he's like, yeah, okay. All right. Go get the fuck out of there. Wow. And I realized if you were going through Orange County, put an Orange County sheriff hat on or any hat in that municipality, you get pulled over and they'd just be like, they'd have to ask, like, what's this? And then you just go, little charity, just some charity. And you'd probably get out of whatever fucking
Any
ticket.
prop comic back in the 60s, or Jonathan Winters, who would wear different hats and play different characters, would have gotten off scot-free today if they had all those hats with them.
You're exactly right. Jonathan Winters could thumb his nose at the law. He could drive at a .90. He could do whatever the fuck he wanted. That speed demon, Jonathan Winters. All right, let's bring her home.
All right, thanks for listening. Check out the Water Cooling Podcast.
All right, Working Blue. You can check us out in Dallas. Me and John Popper are going to be there, so you can. It's kind of a land cruise. We're going to be there. All the fans are going to be there. John's going to be doing
live pods, Blues Traveler performance. You guys are doing Q&As, meet and greets, all this stuff.
Yeah, stand up, everything else. You just go to adamcarolla.com for all of that. I should give, what did I do with Jonathan's plug sheet? Here it is. You can, coming early February, wherever podcasts are found, you can listen to Kite Club. Also, live dates, Tempe, Arizona, coming up March 9th through the 11th. And for more dates, you can go to JonathanKiteComedy.com. com. Andy, you can listen to the Neurotic Vaccine wherever you listen to finer podcasts. A website, Andy Cowan, COWAN.net is where you go.
Benstown McVeigh Media Podcast Networks, great guys. Mike McVeigh, Chachi, Robbie, great team.
So, till next time, this is Adam for Andy and Chris and Jonathan saying mahalo.